I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, for the roll call, the record reflect that all members are present. With board chair comments, not really too much. The kickoff to the school year is a very exciting time, you know, having everybody together this morning, and all the good vibes from everybody. So that's a good thing, and looking forward to a bunch of the stuff that we're talking about tonight too. So with that, I'll look for an approval of the agenda. So, Dr. Hackett.
Second.
Dr. Bowman. All right, any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. We don't have an amendment for tonight, right? Okay. All right, appreciation, recognition, and presentation.
Yeah, so tonight I would just like to honor our custodial staff. They were not able to make it tonight, and Tony had a conflict. He was hoping to get here, but it looks like it didn't work out for him. As you can see, our buildings look really good. Our grounds look great. They painted the parking lots. Our staff painted our parking lots. They worked so hard, and when you walk around the building and watch them dutifully every day, I just thought it's really important that we recognize their hard work this summer and the deep clean that they did and how great it looks, because not all schools look like ours. And so I just want to say I appreciate their hard work and thank them for their due diligence.
Yeah, seconded here, that's for sure.
We did get a picture of all of them today at the welcome back, so we'll get that out on social media.
Sweet.
And then we have a certificate that they can put in the office at both buildings.
Perfect. Is that it for those?
Yes.
Okay. Recognition of citizens for input purposes. All right, we will move on to reports and news. So board committee report. We'll start with finance.
The finance meeting was actually canceled this month, and so we'll all be getting updated from Scott tonight.
Perfect. All right, policy.
So policy met. And we went through second readings on quite a few of these new ones. I think we went through the 507. That's the corporal punishment and foreign restraint fund. I thought it was funny because a couple of days after we read the policy, then it hit the news.
Nope.
So I know that's what I got out of that one, you know. It was fun to have read the policy and have my own opinion of what it says, because there's a lot of opinions of what it says and what it doesn't say. So we read them, and I don't know. Do you have anything, Ryan, that you wanted to?
No, just that we're going through them because we only have one going through for approval, so we're churning through the rest of them a lot. And it's a lot.
It's a lot of verbiage, it's a lot of new verbiage.
Yeah.
And then, yeah. Maria, did you have anything else that you'd from that?
No, not necessarily. I just think that, you know, with the recent legislative changes, that it would be good for all board members to be up to speed on the verbiage changes in some of these. They are hitting on the head on some of the hot topic items parents will be probably asking questions about. So it's best that everybody be super familiar, especially like policy 102 has some noted changes that people probably will question. So
And it's funny what
good to know.
a one word change makes the sentence read as, you know, and that's a policy. Somebody catches that and says, well, I don't know why. Then everybody reads it, and so it's good. So, all right, that's all I have, Mr.
All
Chair.
right, thank you. In mid-state, nothing really new. We didn't have a meeting in July, and there is kind of a meeting in in August and went through just basically the normal consent agenda and. We're going through negotiations there with all the groups and stuff like that too, so. So we'll get there this month.
Can I ask a question on in-state?
Yep.
This might have been presented in the meeting that I missed, but was there a leadership change there?
No,
Assistant directors.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep, but the overall director has been the interim for the last year and was hired as the director
Okay,
about 4 or 5 months ago, something like that.
okay, well, I had a person tell me that she wasn't no longer there, so I just thought maybe I missed
The
it.
assistant director. left.
Okay. Okay,
Someone else.
sounds good, thanks.
Superintendent report.
So I can just say that MCA data has been released. So we will be putting together that presentation that we'll take to the strategic planning committee to look at our world's best workforce goals. And then first we'll start with the district leadership team, look at results with them, and then set new goals. And bring that to the strategic planning committee for them to review as well. And to make any other potential edits if necessary to goals or ask questions. And then we'll bring it to the board for approval through that world's best workforce process. Just a real quick overall highlight, we were above our goal for grad rates at 94%, set the goal at 90%. We did miss the achievement gaps and college and career readiness goals by what we set. We still actually increased in a few of those areas from previous year, but did not hit the goal that we had set. And we did achieve the kindergarten readiness goal. So we'll bring that back as we put that presentation, finalize it, and work through our committee process with that. It will be interesting to see where this goes, because now with the new READ Act, it is required that all students be reading at grade level or above, and it's to be tested and measured in every grade, not just looking at third grade readiness is what they have been looking at, focusing on reading. Now it's every grade. We'll have to figure out what that means at the middle school and high school when it comes to assessing that, and what does that mean for those that don't measure to that proficiency. Is it only one test? Is one test, one snapshot in time, or do you get to test them a couple of times? You get to look at multiple measures. Generally, when we look at academic achievement, if you're going to do it right, you look at multiple measures, not just one test given one time a year on one certain day. So they have not really ironed that out for us yet, so we will keep working through that. Tony and my mission as a team is to go through that READ Act line by line to get it figured out and what that ultimately means for us. There's a lot of different dates for the deadlines. And then I can just tell you on a very positive note, last week we had 2 really good teacher in-service days. We've been really working through our PLC process, and we intend to work through PLCs this next year with Fidelity and what the research says on best practice with how to function with PLCs. We have PLC leads for each one. They're setting SMART goals and working through that process. Also, we worked on our instructional model and looking at our focus areas so that we can ensure that we aspire to have learning targets used with students every single day. We're assessing the learning. We have 100% engagement. We are building relationships. And so those are really 2 positive days. And then this morning we had our opening with everyone here, and that was really positive as well. Looking forward to a new year. So that's what I have.
All right,
I have a question for,
sure.
so when you do these in-service days and you're setting up these PLCs like that, so what happens if we have a new hire halfway through the year? Is there a way to,
They would join a PLC.
but is there a way that they're going to try to teach them the things that they learned? Is that the
Yeah,
way that works?
Yep, it's where the teachers work as a team. So you have your 3rd grade teachers, they set goals for what they want to hit. You'll have some short-term goals. You may have a long-term annualized goal, but they work together and they look at different teaching strategies to try to hit those goals, bringing back student data, taking a look at where they are.
When you hire people, do they ever ask about these things? Or do you,
No, I don't know if they really,
I mean, cause
It's
I
for
would think
teachers,
it's
so-
support for the teachers though. I
Yes.
mean, so, you know, they should be a bit advised of it because not every school is gonna have that, you know,
it's
so.
best practice. Most schools do. a
Do they
PLC.
do?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Professional learning community's been around for 20 years and
Yeah.
it's really good work. The DeFores are the one that started it, Richard DeFore, and then we're an HRS district with Marzano. He partnered with them to further enhance that PLC process. So most schools are pretty well versed in it, and it's an opportunity for teachers to improve instructional practice together. So, yeah. And principals are there to support, and give guidance and for possibly resources if necessary.
That's all I have.
All right. Business manager report. In person and everything.
In person, yeah, feel sorry for you guys. Lord, I am Scott Ryan in the flesh, not on your screen, so I'm here tonight to talk to you about the finance report. As member Trout said that the finance committee meeting was canceled due to the fact usually in August, there's nothing really to report on. Our contracts start 9/1, right, Amy? Start on 9/1, so then once the contracts come in and start kicking in, we'll have some financial information to start sharing for FY 24. The audit for FY 23 is taking place 3 weeks from now. That's the field work days, but it needs to be completed by November 30th. So once those journal entries start happening and the field work starts happening, we'll have a bigger update on FY 23. So like I mentioned, I will keep you guys abreast of how that's shaking out, and how the audit's being completed. I also did want to talk about some upcoming events as well. So September 30th, we will typically levy the max as we typically do every single year. And then December 11th, we will actually do the truth and taxation meeting. It's my goal right now to have our audit meeting that same night, so get lots of sleep the night before, because it's gonna be a long one. Randy's already shaking his head, sorry. You're not taking corn out or anything by then, right?
Yeah, no.
So that's 3 weeks from now, or excuse me, September 30th, and then the audit meeting, and then truth and taxation, hopefully gonna be that December 11th too. Also, while we're here, I want to also introduce Yuki Dozier, sitting right here in the flesh as well too. So want to give you guys an update. So those that were on some of the negotiations with me, you guys heard a little bit about what's happening with one of our business management school management services. She had some health issues and needed to step out. So I am stepping in to help out. And then in that transition, also I'm helping Yuki come into Royalton to help you guys out as well too. So he has a lot of comes with a lot of experience, a lot more than I have, coming from Robbinsdale School District, and has worked with Dr. Weirkamp in the past as well. But this is gonna be a very slow transition in bringing Yuki on to work with Royalton. So that process has started, and I'm already learning a lot from him. So he's a lot smarter than I am, even though he went to Minnesota, not Iowa. So I kind of don't like him for that fact, but I might get beat up here too for all the Minnesota fans as well. But and if the name is familiar, he did play football at Minnesota too. So, and a little bit with the Vikings, right? Yeah, I would have made it, but it's gonna be a long car ride home. But any questions as any upcoming events or anything that you guys have questions for me, or this change process? I know that I've talked to some of you about it in the negotiating meetings, but any questions on that? All right, perfect. All right, well, thank you guys, appreciate it. Yeah.
Welcome.
Principal report.
Chairman Hofstad, members of the board, Superintendent Weirkamp. Just a few things I wanted, Superintendent Weirkamp hit on the successful in-services that we had on August 21st and 22nd. One of the parts I like about having that in August is you get teachers without the baggage of the school year on them at those in-services. They don't have papers to grade. They don't have 3 meetings and everything going on at, after school, or there might be coaching. And so to be able to have those teachers have some concentrated time to really work is a great thing. K-12 alignment of curriculum, having the ability for the 5th grade teachers to talk with our 6th grade teachers is something that we did that day, where they had a chance to sit down and try to align some of those gaps and things that happen in the transition from elementary to high school. The department areas had a chance to meet, and at the high school then in the afternoon, we had a PBIS workshops both on Monday and Tuesday afternoon. And the staff created some videos highlighting some of the things we expect out of students in the classroom, in the hallways, on the bus, at an assembly, And so they filmed kind of like a little public service announcement. And we'll be showing those to staff tomorrow morning. They had to have them in and they have some little Oscars and some other awards that they're gonna give out for that, but it was really a good thing, and the teachers acted out the parts that they wanted to teach, and it really is about teaching students what you expect of them. And so they modeled that and had some humor with it, and so we're looking forward to seeing those. Open house is on this Wednesday. Some of you might have got a school reach from me at about 5:45 tonight. But open house for the middle school, high school is on Wednesday. I'd like to remind people if you're a senior and you know the ropes, you're probably okay not coming to open house. But if you're a new student or a sixth grader, all are welcome. But we really want to make sure that we can get our first timers and our new kids into the building and get them a chance to get familiar with it before school starts on Tuesday. On Tuesday, the 5th, our first day of school is 6 through 8 only. We went to this a number of years ago. Cuts down the amount of traffic in the building. It allows the middle schoolers a chance to navigate and find out where they're going and where they're supposed to be without all 550 students in the building at one time. It really seemed to reduce the stress on the younger kids. They just have a chance. It allows me, my high school teachers then are out in the hallways directing traffic and helping students with their schedules or their lockers. And so I have more staff on hand and available during the day to be able to help out around the building as those students navigate their first day of school. And then the first parent newsletter for the grades 6 through 12, my newsletter, first one of the year, will come out tomorrow at 2 o'clock by email. And has some of the highlighted dates and times and things coming up for next week. And I send out a parent newsletter. For those of you in high school, you have probably received it, hopefully read it. But we will do that as close to weekly as we can. Some of the short weeks and MEA, it gets a little tight. We combine a few of those weeks together, but we will be doing that weekly, trying to communicate with parents about what's happening here and how we can engage with our community and our parents. So that's all I got.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you.
Chair Hostin, members of the board, Superintendent Dr. Camp. I'm honored and privileged to give my first board report as elementary principal. Excited, ready to go. The excitement last week of the 2 in-service days, it was awesome, for grade levels to align vertically, which they don't really have much time once the school year gets going. The PLCs stick within their grade levels, and kind of those cross conversations might happen in the teacher's lounge, but they really don't happen in depth. So it was great for them to sit down and be able to see where we teach, where we start, where we end up, what spirals through. And on that Monday in the afternoon, they were able to kind of digest some of the information, take a look at their 10,000 view scope of where do our units align, what works well, what is redundancies, what could we move maybe in science that fits in with our ELA at the time. And those are great conversations. On that Tuesday, talking about PLCs in the afternoon, I wanted to make sure that our PLCs were aligned, having growth goals. Each teacher had a growth goal, and then they went into looked at common assessments. I wanted to make sure our grade levels, all 3 teachers at each grade level, are given the same assessment when it comes to FastBridge and all the other unit assessments that they take, because when you sit down and look at the data in PLCs, if you don't have the same questions and the same grading, the data means very, very little. So I wanted to make sure our grade teachers within each PLC were aligned that way, and then they had great vertical conversation questions as well about how to grade and what resources they use, and is it okay if we level up a little bit and choose a 4th grade selection for 3rd grade? That's fine, or choose a 2nd grade. It's really about getting kids what they need and making sure that they're successful and see gains. Some need challenging, some need a boost when it comes to seeing successes. So those are all great conversations. The teachers are on the same page. So that was awesome. Great feedback from both days. That they loved it. Getting in, meeting a lot of people, figuring out the craziness that is the elementary schedule, who's where, when, what specialists on what days, and it's been a good learning experience, and I'm excited to continue to keep going. We have open house here on Wednesday, noon to 7:30 as the last time slot, 15-minute time slots for each child. 15 minutes goes really fast when the kid's looking at their desk and they're looking at, okay, this is how the classroom is, and those things go really quick, but it's good for those kids to get in and have a little comfort of, okay, this is where I need to go, this is my locker, this is my desk, and they get to see some of the other kids' names in the classroom and they're familiar. And so we've got noon to 7:30 on Wednesday. And then the 5th, we have 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. open house as well. And we start full go on Wednesday the 6th. Questions?
All right, thank you. Athletic director reporting.
Chair Hofstad, member of the board, Superintendent Dr. Werkamp, Caitlin Frenchek, activities director. Fall sports are off. Prior to the fall sports starting, I did have our annual parent athletic or athlete coaches meeting, which was almost standing room only. So that was big. So 7th through 12th grade cross country is going, 9th through 12th grade football and volleyball are going. Junior high sports will start September 5th. Volleyball hosted the Royals invite on Friday. It was a big thing to take on as your first activity, as an activity director. But went smoothly. Their next game is actually tomorrow at home versus Ogilvie. Football had a scrimmage on Saturday, against Little Falls, Apollo, and Osakis. It was a great experience for the athletes and coaches to get out there. They play Thursday at Rockford, 7 p.m. with the first home game being September 8th against Holdingford. Cross country had a scrimmage, or scrimmage we'd call it, on Saturday as well. And then their competitive season actually will start on Friday as they run at Maple Lake. Yeah. Well, registrations are going okay. A lot of things to work out, just the switching of how things are done, but yeah.
So is doing that in Skyward helping? Or is it harder?
Yes and no. I mean, it's less paperwork that I have to take in, but there's some confusion since it's an optional form. If they look at it, it gives them a green check thinking it's done, but they haven't actually signed their name, typed in their name to sign it. So there's some confusion on that part.
We ran into trouble with it. You typed your name in, then if you go back to look at it again to see if you typed your name in, it erases it, and then if you don't type it in again, it's not on there. So it's a little weird that way, but once you understand the format, then you're okay. But yeah.
Yeah, and just making sure they get all of the forms and it's not just in one big packet.
It wasn't really all that hard to find the paper form though on the website. So we redid it and then printed out the paper form. It wasn't very hard to find.
Yeah.
So, there's other options. So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And community education.
Chair Hofstad, members of the board, Dr. Werkamp. I'm Amy Kruger. I am the community ed director, wearing that hat for this role. Wanted to give you some updates on preschool. Right now, our enrollment numbers are really strong. We have 91 students in 3-year-old and 4-year-old. So we are at capacity for our 3-year-old program at the moment. Our 4-year-old program has a couple of openings in our split day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, but otherwise we are pretty much at capacity. Our open house will be tomorrow night. We wanted to do it on a different night than the elementary and the high school, just to kind of split it up for parents. So that is on tomorrow night from 5:30 to 7:30. School will start for preschool the week after school starts here. The chaos of transportation in that first week, we kind of just let preschool not come. What we're doing though instead this year is we are having small group parent meetings. So parents are gonna come in, meet with the teacher, bring their child, and then they're going to be able to screen the child to see where they're at on some kindergarten or some preschool skills. So it'll be something new that we're gonna do this year. Preschool screening, they just screened 40+ students and referrals were made. So that could also potentially increase our 3-year-old numbers because we try to get them in as soon as we possibly can. Could increase some 4-year-olds, but for sure the 3-year-old. During our PLCs, we were able to spend some time together, getting to know each other. We have 2 new faces in teachers and 2 people that are taking on different roles than they had in the past. So that was very good. They were excited to have some time to do the vertical alignment work, telling kindergarten what to expect from those kiddos. But then also preschool doesn't have any data that we come in with other than screening data. So we needed to look at creating data. And so we looked at that day, those couple days, we created what we want to screen our children on and what baseline information we want. And then they also interacted with their new curriculum. We will be starting Frog Street curriculum this year. That was purchased last year or just this past year. So they've just had a small little inkling of time to work with it or to look at it. And then we have what are called the early childhood indicators of progress, which are our standards. So something brand new to most of them. We introduced those and how we can crosswalk the curriculum to those standards. That was kind of our days for preschool. Any questions on preschool stuff?
I have one question. We don't turn people away for preschool.
We have not. We've found ways to make it work.
Okay.
So even if somebody wants a 5-day and we have some slots open in the Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, we just explain to them that curriculum can be spiraled, that we have not turned them away. We've not had to turn people away. Yep. We do need to keep some slots open for kiddos that qualify for special ed in the middle of the year, plus kids that turned 3 in the middle of the year. But we know the kids that are coming up that are already in services birth to 3. So we keep a close look at or a close eye on those. Any other questions about preschool? I have lots of other information for you. Community ed has lots under it. As far as community ed enrichment, we are currently surveying our community, basically. The survey went out in the Royal Review. It's been put on Facebook. We had it at Big Truck Night. That on some bookmarks, and the QR code is available. I will be visiting the senior center this week. And then I have plans to work with the middle school, high school, and then also the upper elementary to talk with those classrooms of kids once they kind of settle in and see what they'd like to see for classes that are offered. We also had Big Truck Night, which was a co-sponsored event between community education and early childhood family education. We ended up having 22 big trucks come that night. From 5:30 to 7:30, we gave some door prizes away, some snacks. We had about 300 to 350 people in attendance. We gave away boxes of crayons with a bookmark they could color with the QR code on it, and we gave away 125 boxes of crayons. So it tells you how many littles there were there. So it was a good event for the first time we've ever attempted that. Some things for class offerings. For our new adult class offerings in the fall, we have Circle of Parents, which is kind of like a early childhood family education for adolescent and teen parents of adolescents and teens. So being able to have some conversations about transition to middle school or social media, or it's kind of those topics that really are kind of near and dear to that middle school age. It's free to attend. We're going to hold them monthly on Wednesdays. Beginning on the 13th of September, childcare is going to be available as well as a light supper. So if people are interested, please register. We also have a Heart Saver CPR AED class in October that we're offering that will go over choking management, infant CPR, adult CPR. And then one that has been requested by many, many people was pickleball. And so we will be, trying to navigate pickleball starting on Wednesdays, beginning September 20th from 6 until 8. We're gonna hold it in the central gym, see what happens. Currently we have, I think as of today, there was 11 people signed up already. So I'm hoping that will go well. We are gonna start the first night with, kind of a rules and setting up our procedures, the Royalton rules, because I'm sure there's rules of pickleball everywhere. So we'll set up what rules they're gonna play by and see how it goes. For youth enrichment, we're offering some things like Lego Mania, games galore and more for our pre-K and K kids. Firearm safety has been a huge hit. That's for kids age 11 and up. And then we also have an art club that we're running for grades 6 through 8. I had intentions of doing an art club for the youngers, like 1st through 4th grade. However, my instructor fell through. So that's the one age group that I don't really have a whole lot for in the fall, but hopefully in the winter we'll have some additional offerings. In addition, we have, of course, all of the youth sports, flag football, volleyball, intro to cross country, tackle football, soccer, basketball tune-up. So lots of things offered for people to be able to take. Any questions about community ed classes? Okay, then MAP, which also falls under community ed. So our childcare program, our school year registration has begun for MAP. We're moving to a new accounting system. We're moving from Smart to Skyward to help things be a little bit more fluid and easy for our parents. This year, we're giving 3 enrollment options and allowing to allow for planning of staff so that we can have a safe student to adult ratio, but then also to be able to more fiscally staff more fiscally responsible. So you can pick from 3 enrollment options, a fixed schedule, a pick your days schedule, or a drop-in schedule. And there's different kind of rates for that sort of thing. And we're helping parents navigate through that right now, getting them registered for that school year. Any questions on that? All right.
Thank you. All right, consent agenda approval. So the board is consenting to approve items listed below as presented at one time. At any point, the director can pull an item off the consent agenda for further discussion. That is approval of regular board meeting minutes, approval of work session meeting minutes, claims, accounts, and financial. Approve accounts payable and receivables and employee reimbursements is attached, and approve all other financial reports as presented. Approval of resignations, approval of new hires. And that's it.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to move the consent agenda.
All right, Director Heck. In a second.
Second.
All right, Director Bauman. All right, any discussion?
I just have one clarifying question, just I think it's a mistake, but I just wanted to be sure. Under the claims, accounts and financial, there is 2 documents uploaded. One's called July FY 24 accounts payable and the other one's called FY 24 July AP report. And I'm pretty sure they're the same, it's the same information.
Yeah, I noticed that's
When I looked at that, I just wanted to make sure that that was true.
Yeah, they would both be the same thing.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. Any other discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Go to number 10. And we'll start with the summer school update.
Okay, so the principals come forward and Amy. So just a quick brief overview of how summer school went for us. Gonna go to the next slide. Amy, go ahead, like to start.
So our summer MAP program ran from June 12th through August 25th. We were open from 6:30 in the morning until 6 p.m. Our average daily attendance was 39 students. They did weekly field trips all over. They actually had a field trip come to them. So the Stearns History Museum. You can't go there anymore, but they came to us and brought their stuff. And then just really having lots of fun doing activities, crafts, outdoor activities. They did a lot of different like guided drawings and all kinds of things related to math and lots of learning activities. So it was a great summer with kids.
Is the climate controlled building a lot better?
Yes,
Yeah, I
yes, they
imagine so.
enjoyed that. It
Yeah.
still didn't feel super climate controlled just because you have kids in and out and
Yep,
everything,
yep,
but
Still
much
got
better
humidity
than-
out of there, yeah,
yeah, they weren't, you didn't walk over there and they
Laying on
weren't
the
dripping
tile
sweat all
floor.
over.
trying to cool off, yeah.
Yeah.
Our summer school and ESY programs, ran concurrently, with middle school, high school, and the elementary. Our dates for 3 weeks, July 10th to the 27th, 4 days a week, from 8 AM to noon. We were able to provide bus transportation for those that needed it. And then, with our new legislation, each child got a free breakfast and a free lunch as well. And this is year 2 of, using ESSER funds to provide that summer school programming. We had 46 students for average daily attendance, which includes summer school and ESY. Ted Hansen was a coordinator again for summer school for us. And so he did a lot of the prep work, the planning components to it. We had Kathy Brenny, we had Alyssa Hammers, Michael Marshall, and Hannah Toma. She got married. Were our teachers, and then Joe Nichols and Megan Goshik were provide the ESY services for our kids. The curriculum that we bought worked well, and we made sure that we kept track of it, and we packed it away last year, and then we used it again for this year. And that curriculum can be used again, so they're not just consumables, kind of like what some other curriculum would be. But we're able to kind of retain that and then continue to use that for kids.
In the middle school, we had 37 invitees in May, and it ended up being 27 students that attended summer school in the middle school. Comprehensive approach to core instruction, so each day was broke up with some math, some science, social studies, and English. And so they spent time working on being successful, working on building some of those skills so they find success as they come back to the regular school year, hands-on learning opportunities. We even had a few students who graduated out of summer school where they had met the requirements, and they got a few more days of summer vacation. And so we're hoping that translates to success as they move into this school year. At the high school, credit recovery started in June. They are assigned credit recovery in June. One of the requirements for summer school credit recovery is that they do attend in person the summer school. Now, if you are a motivated student who gets your online class in June, they showed up the first day and showed that they had completed the course. They were done with in-person attendance for summer school. Other students who needed more support, or maybe they had multiple classes that they were doing, spent the time in summer school with math teachers and Mr. Shaw. We staffed it so they could receive support to finish up those things. On a summer before we started doing this, I would maybe get 3 or 4 credits recovered during the summer. And at the end of summer school, we had 15 semester credits that were recovered by our students, and we still have a couple more that are finishing up this week, finishing up credits. So I would anticipate it would be 17 or 18 credits recovered, which is a very good rate of credit recovery for our students.
That kind of credit probably translates to 1 to 2 kids walking or not walking, huh?
For sure.
For sure.
Or
More.
or staying in our programs, staying in our
Yeah.
school,
Yeah.
you know, and make,
Yep.
I'm able to stay as a Royalton student and stay with us, which is ultimately our goal. We want our students here.
Yeah. It's just things to think of when we go to think whether we're doing it next year. You know, We're
I'm
gonna be so
hoping-
far away from this that, you know, to think about it now, something's good.
No, now is the time now is definitely the time to be thinking about it, and I think that the recipe that we've developed over the last few years has been successful. You know, and now you look to build on it, or what kind of develop a baseline of operation, and now what can we do to enhance it? What can we do to make it stronger, better? You know, the middle school had some adjustments that they made this year to that curriculum, like the graduating piece, where they had met some of the requirements. I thought that's for students who are in summer school, they haven't found success. To be able to congratulate them and give them something that shows that, hey, you can do this. You can be successful in school if you put your mind to it, is a great thing for us and for those kids.
Great to hear. Absolutely.
What we're gonna have to figure out now is how to fund it.
Yeah.
Because ESSER money is gonna be done, so I'm in contact with Little Falls, to determine we gotta figure out the best way to get target services. I'm not real sure they're gonna be able to continue as an ALC there. They may have to function as an ALP, and that's very different, so. Superintendent, I'll be meeting with leadership and with principals and CNC person, and we'll get it figured out.
We certainly don't want to visit those students walking.
I know,
Yeah.
exactly. We just have to figure out a way to get it to work.
It's a driver's license for the rest of your life, so.
Right.
All right, thank you very much.
I'm gonna just stay.
So, over the last 2 Fridays, I spent those, onboarding our new staff or doing an orientation with them. Our new staff this year, I think if you count them up, I think that's 27, I believe. So it's a combination of, we've had some retirements, we had some new positions added, and then we had some people who decided to move on and, you know, do different things. So in the Early Childhood Center, we have 2 new preschool teachers. We have Leah Suska and Stacy Hulls. We also have a special ed teacher who is specific to kindergarten. Her name is Lindsay Pop. We have a big group of special ed students in that kindergarten grade. There's like 13 of them right now. So hoping to catch them early and then be able to hopefully dismiss them if we can, you know, get them what they need. At the elementary, we have a brand new 3rd grade teacher and 5th grade teacher. So Janessa Gangle is our 3rd grade teacher. She is on maternity leave. So you'll see the long-term sub, Mary Klosowski, is covering her maternity leave to start the year. Carissa Meering is Meering, yep, I think that's how you say it, right? She is the new 5th grade teacher that we will have. She joins a great team of 5th grade teachers. Rachel Ekman, new art teacher. Abigail Wiedenbach is our new social worker. And then we have some student teachers that are joining us as well. So Gracie Gangle and Rachel, I can't even begin to pronounce that last name. They will be joining us. Ted Hansen has Gracie Gangle and Rachel is with Tammy Shaughnessy in kindergarten. At the high school, we have Thomas Ebnett, who's a science teacher. He was with us and did a lot of subbing last year. So he's pretty familiar to people already. Olivia Baldzicki is our new music or choir teacher. Joelle Ladon, new ag teacher, who's going to be teaching some almost facts-like type classes. Nicole Klinkhammer is our new school nurse. She comes to us from St. Cloud and has been a licensed school nurse and functioned as a school nurse. So we don't have the uptick on her coming here is going to be that learning curve is going to be real short. Mindy Klosowski and Benny Barnack are new special ed teachers, as well as Jolene Cherney at the high school. And then we have Boyd Schneider, who is returning back just for a long-term sub position. He is covering a maternity leave. And then we have some new administration. So we have Linda Fisher, our transportation director, which she started, was it April, May, March, something like that?
Oh, yeah, March.
So she started a while ago, but we introduced her as a new staff because she's pretty new to the staff, our coming back staff. Again, Anthony Newman at the elementary, myself as community ed director, and then Caitlin Frenchek as our dean and activities director. We also have some non-certified staff. The district office, we introduced Linda Brzezinka as our finance specialist, payroll person, AP. Michelle Stevens as the district office and community education secretary. Some of our non-certified staff in the early childhood center. We have a special education paraprofessional, Sheila Lodemeyer, kindergarten special education paraprofessional, Kim Holman. Becky Bisdock is returning back to us. She will be with the 3-year-old program. And then at the elementary, paraprofessional Hannah Creek. Transportation, we've been lucky to find some transportation people. Ben Borsch is joining us as he's an alum and joining us as a sub bus driver, and he will also do some activity driving. And Chris Stosick is going to be a van driver. And then William Howe is a bus driver, and he came to us with bus driving experience and is going to jump right in and start a route the first day of school. At the high school, middle school, Cindy Larson, Amanda Roth-Lutner, and Sonia Wiseman are paraprofessionals. Amanda Roth-Lutner is in a kind of an interesting position. She is going to start the year at the elementary and do a long-term sub position. And then she's going to come over, and we were planning ahead for one of our paraprofessionals at the high school is going to start student teaching to get her teaching license. So Amanda will take over her position at the high school. So she technically is a middle school, high school employee, but will start the year at the elementary. And then we also added a new custodian a couple months ago. She's been here for a little while. Brandy Sutton, she will move over to to evenings at the elementary school. All the custodians have been working days so far. That is our new staff. We still do have a couple of positions open. We have a food service position. We have a paraprofessional in preschool, and we have a paraprofessional at the high school right now that are open. Other than that, we're doing pretty darn good for staffing.
Great to hear. I guess most schools aren't that well off, so.
We worked really hard. But we have some great people coming in. I am super excited about this crew of people. They are going to be great additions to our district. The energy and the it's gonna be awesome. I'm excited about them.
Well, all right, thank you. MREA membership.
So we talked about this at the work session, just wanted to get the final approval to go ahead and become members with them. We get a reduction in dues for our first year, and we'll see how it goes. Again, these represent Minnesota Rural Education Association, so they really advocate for what rural districts need, and I feel like this is a really good fit. All of the districts surrounding us are in this particular group.
All right. Anybody want to make that a motion?
So moved.
Director Roaring,
Second.
Director Bowman. Any discussion?
I have a question. So we are joining this one, right? Paying $1,000 a year for it. We also are members of another one.
Yeah, C, School of Equity and Education. So if this works out well, my recommendation would be to be here and not be in C. I don't think we need the dues of both.
Right. That's my,
Some districts do. Some will be in AMSD and C. I just don't know that that's necessarily necessary for us to be in two. This came up after we had already re-signed up with them, and Royalton's been with C since before I came.
I think, to be real honest, I think 5-6 years ago, Royalton probably aligned better with C than they maybe do now. With some of the funding that's came out,
Yeah.
I don't know if they're gonna.
So C is all about equity,
Yeah.
when it comes to revenues. And so in other words, Royalton is in a tough position because we don't have enough businesses to help offset the tax burden that we experience here for raising tax, or for the tax collection that goes into the state to pay out education funds or any other. So C focuses solely on that, whereas MREA will focus on that because there's other districts that have that same experience, but they focus on other things as well. MREA was very much a part of getting that tax burden off of farmers. So that farmers don't have to include all of their land in that taxation piece for operating levies. So they're a good advocate for rural districts.
Any other discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. All right, and approval of MOU for FY 24 learning days.
So as statute now requires, if districts are going to have e-learning days, they first must negotiate that with the teachers union. So we did that. We met and negotiated as part of our process and came up with basically the same terms as we had last year. So please note, we approved that we could do PD online, and as you know, the teachers, we have together exactly how that would work for teachers. We haven't tried it yet because by the time the board approved it last year, we didn't have any other days to use it. So that would, in this memorandum of agreement, it allows for that to continue happening.
All right, so I'll read this so everybody knows exactly what's in it. So, memorandum of agreement is entered into by and between Independent School District 485 and the Royalton Education Minnesota Union. Whereas the union and the district are parties to a collective bargaining agreement governing negotiated terms and conditions of employment for teachers in the district. During the 2023-2024 school year, the union and district have both agreed to allow for e-learning days as allowed in Minnesota State Statute 120 Alpha .414. Whereas the parties are entering into the MOA to ensure that no misunderstandings arise. In consideration of the mutual promises contained in this MOA and other consideration, the sufficiency of which is acknowledged, the parties agree as follows. The term will expire and terminate on June 30th, 2024. The MOA can be extended beyond this point with mutual agreement between the union and the district. Declaration of e-learning days. In the event of inclement weather, the superintendent can call for an e-learning day. The first inclement weather day will be a snow day with the calling of a teacher professional development day at the discretion of the superintendent. Upon the calling of an e-learning day, the formal notification by the superintendent will alert principals, staff, and families to an e-learning day no later than 5 a.m. the day of the e-learning day. Teachers will be available to students and parents either by phone or email during the school day. No changes to this are valid unless they are in writing and signed by both parties. So that's the agreement that the teachers union has already signed. So does anybody want to make that motion?
I'll move that.
Director Hackett, second Director Roaring. All right, any discussion on that? Really no change from last year, so.
We did meet with the union and it was a good discussion, just because there's learning to be done here on the whole thing, and it's just really good that we can go into a room and meet with them and ideas bounce back and forth and we come out of it with an agreement. It really is good. Was a good process, so.
Good. That's always good.
Yeah.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain?
Abstain.
All right, motion carries. Approval of donations by resolution. Really just like the clunky way that we have to do these.
It is clunky.
But, all right, so, who wants to introduce the resolution? Director Trode. Introduce the following resolution and move its adoption, whereas all the information is included in your packet. Royalton Pine Country Bank has generously donated $475 to pay for box lunches for the 2023 newly hired staff orientation days. Secondly, Royalton American Legion has generously donated $800 to cover the cost of the beginning of the year all staff breakfast and end of the year final teacher in-service day. And third, Langola Township has generously donated $2,000 to the community education programs. And fourth, the Royalton Wrestling Club has generously donated $27,584.23 for the replacement of 2 mats in the high school wrestling practice room. $18,775.96 covers a competition mat for the main wrestling room with the Royals logo on one side and practice circles on the reverse side. $8,808.27 covers a practice mat for the second room. And the conditions on these gifts were included in there. Therefore, be it resolved by the Royalton School Board to gratefully accept the gifts. So the motion for adoption of the foregoing resolution was duly seconded by member
Ryan.
Ring. And upon a roll call vote, the following voted.
Director Bauman. Abstain. Director Hofstad.
Aye.
Director Hackett.
Aye.
Director Boyd.
Aye.
Director Rory. Aye. Director Trump. Aye.
All right. So 5 votes for and 1 abstain. Motion carries. Foregoing resolution was approved this 28th day of August, 2023. Thank you very much. And thank you to Pine Country Bank, Legion, Langola Township, and the wrestling club for sure. Wow. That's gonna be pretty cool.
Yeah.
For those guys. Policy readings. So in your packet, we have the list of all the first readings that we're gonna start looking at. And then second policy readings, for what we're gonna look at for the second time, and, the ones we're looking at for the third time are still just not on here. But it's a whole lot. And just like Maria said earlier, there's a lot in each one of these policies. So reading through it takes a while to comb through it and understand what they're trying to say. And then if we understand it the same way that we think they're trying to say it, it's tough. And it's long.
It's funny that you can read it and not even see what somebody else sees. It blows my mind, so.
Yep. So I would just like to say thank you guys for being on the policy committee, because wow, that's a whole lot of extra. So. And then we have one for approval. So 504 student dress and appearance. And that one just had minor changes. So I'll take a motion to approve the second policy reading for 504. Director Bowman.
Director Hackett seconds it.
All right, Director Hackett. Any discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. All right, upcoming meeting schedule. Policy meeting is September 13th. Is there any chance we want to move that one way or another? I'm gone the 12th, 13th, and 14th again, and I don't want to miss another policy meeting.
Could we do the 20th?
So looking at the next week. I was gonna email this out, I didn't have time. Be here that week either. I'm gone that whole week.
Relatively ahead of time. So first week of school.
Yeah, so, it's up to you. Do we want to try doing it on the 6th?
The principals say no.
First day of school, the assembly.
They can come.
Okay,
That one. What about? Yeah. Could we do it on Monday, the 11th?
the 11th. I can, yes.
Yeah,
Possibly, I'm still a calendar on the wall kind of person, and I forget to take a picture of it every time I come here.
Okay.
So when it comes to this night, I'm like, oh, crud, I don't remember it.
All right,
Probably.
I'll send an email after.
Probably do it, okay.
I'll send an email afterwards and we can negotiate it on there once everybody has their. I have one calendar that I don't have on this phone on my other phone, so.
I have the desk calendars when I come and carry the whole thing in next week. You know.
19th noon finance meeting, that's still good for you guys? All right, and then, September 25th, we have that. For the next regular board meeting. All right, and then we'll have to talk about, mid-date agenda too.
Yeah.
So we'll do that afterwards. All right, so we are going to, what's that? Okay. So we're going to, close the meeting for superintendent evaluation as permitted by Minnesota statute section 13D.05. So I'll take a motion to do that.
Motion to close.
All right, by Director Bowman,
Second that motion.
by Director Hackett. Any discussion? All right, and motion to close the regular meeting at 7:01 PM by Director Bowman, second by Director Hackett. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. And